chair, press play. We're going for a ride. It's Inference Dive, where your world comes alive. Study well, it's student life. Laugh and learn, side by side. It's Inference Dive.
Hello and welcome back to the Inference Podcast. I'm Neha, joined as always by Arjun and his legendary ability to panic about money 3 minutes before a deadline.
In my defense, that's a very efficient way to learn. I'm Arjun. Hi. And today we're doing the thing every incoming student Googles at 2 a.m. while their suitcase sits half packed in the corner, silently judging them. Which UK bank do I actually pick?
Because just get a bank account sounds simple until you open 5 apps and every single one is yelling about cashback, fees, and something called an arranged overdraft that nobody has ever properly explained to a human being.
Arranged by who? Arranged for what occasion? Was there a meeting I wasn't invited to?
Nobody knows. Let's break it down properly because this decision follows you around your rent deposit, your phone contract, sometimes even bits of your visa paperwork all end up tangled in whichever account you pick first.
So let's start with the facts. Story 1. The proper mainstream rundown. And there's actually been a big shift this year that a lot of people haven't caught up on. Revolut is no longer just the currency app.
Say more because I feel like half our listeners still think of it as the app my cousin uses for holidays.
As of March 2026, Revolut became a fully licensed UK bank, properly regulated by the same two bodies that oversee Barclays and HSBC, and deposits are now protected up to £120,000 under the FSCS, same as any high street bank.
Haha, as if you and I have that kind of money sloshing around in our account?
Hey, come on now. Look, even if it's only £120 in my account, knowing that it's protected never hurts.
Worth being precise here though, what's actually new is the legal protection sitting behind your money. Before, your funds were safeguarded but not covered by that FSCS scheme. Now they are.
Which is the meaningful upgrade, honestly. Revolut was already brilliant for exchange rates, converting currency at the real mid-market rate on weekdays, the same rate you'd see on Google, no markup, which actually saves you money moving currency around in your first few months.
So the advantage there is speed, plus fair exchange rates, plus now real bank level deposit protection. One of the strongest all-round options for an incoming student setting things up from abroad.
Then you've got Monzo, which has honestly been students' favorite for years, and for good reason. The app is lovely to use. It splits your spending into categories automatically, and its pots feature is basically a polite way of hiding your rent money from yourself before you can spend it on a spontaneous kebab.
A digital version of that jar your mum hides the good biscuits in.
Exactly. Monzo's biggest advantage is just how frictionless everything is day to day. Instant notifications the second you spend, an interface that makes budgeting almost enjoyable, and a full UK bank from day one. So it's a safe, simple choice if you want zero admin headaches.
Then the high street banks, Lloyds, Barclays, HSBC, Santander, and each one earns its place for different reasons. So let's actually go through what each does best rather than lumping them together.
HSBC's real strength is its global reach. If your family already banks with HSBC at home, some students can start the account process before ever touching UK soil using that existing relationship, which can save serious time during a busy arrival week.
Santander's standout is the 123 style student account with built-in railcard perks, which is a real saving if you're planning to travel around the UK during term breaks, since a third off most rail fares adds up fast.
Barclays has one of the widest branch and ATM networks in the country. So if you value being able to walk into an actual branch and speak to a person face to face, especially for something like a large transfer or a lost card, Barclays makes that easy almost anywhere you end up living.
And Lloyds has a strong reputation for straightforward, dependable service and one of the most established student overdraft offerings, which some students specifically want as a safety net during their first term while they're still learning to budget.
So none of these are the right option. They're just built for slightly different needs. Revolut and Monzo win on speed, setup, and app experience. HSBC wins if you've got an existing international relationship. Santander wins if you're traveling a lot. Barclays wins on physical access. Lloyds wins if you want a traditional safety net.
Which is really the actual takeaway here. Don't pick the bank with the nicest icon. Pick based on what you'll actually need most in your first few months. And a lot of students end up genuinely happy running two accounts side by side. One digital first, one traditional, using each for what it's best at.
Compare properly, check what documents each provider wants from international applicants specifically, since that bit varies more than people expect. And don't assume the process is identical everywhere.
Right, story two. And this one's not a fact check, this is just me, humbled, live on a podcast.
Oh, I love this one.
So I did everything right, or so I thought. I opened my account weeks before landing, transferred money into it from home the day before my flight, and felt very smug about it. Told everyone in my family group chat I was financially prepared.
Which is the kind of sentence the universe hears and immediately punishes.
Exactly what happened. I land, I'm running on airport coffee and 4 hours of sleep, go to buy a SIM card, tap my card, and it declines. I check the app, and my transfer is just sitting there under pending.
Ah, the first time international transfer delay. A classic.
Turns out, because it was my first ever transfer into that account from a new international source, the bank flagged it for extra verification checks. Completely normal, completely sensible from a fraud prevention standpoint, absolutely useless information to me standing in a phone shop with no working card.
The silent judgment of a phone shop employee is a very specific kind of pain.
Had to pull out cash I'd exchanged at the airport, which we all know is basically legalized robbery, just to buy a £10 SIM that probably should have cost me 8. And the transfer didn't actually clear until 3 days later.
3 days. So you were essentially cashless in a new country for 3 days.
Essentially, yes. And the annoying part is, there was nothing wrong with what I did. I just didn't know that first-time international transfers can take several working days to clear, especially larger ones. So, having the money sent doesn't mean the money is there.
Which is a genuinely useful thing to know before you fly, not after.
Exactly. So, the actual student hack here: send your first transfer at least a week before you travel, not the night before. And bring a small amount of cash or a backup card as a buffer in case that first transfer gets held for checks. Don't assume sent means spendable.
And check your app for a pending status before you assume something's broken. It's rarely broken, it's just slow on purpose for good reason.
Which is basically the theme of this entire podcast. Everything makes sense eventually, just not while you're standing in a queue with a declining card.
Painfully accurate.
Alright, story 3, and this one's just fun, no financial trauma involved. The Commonwealth Games wrapped up in Glasgow, and if you've had it on in the background at all, it delivered.
11 days of competition, and Australia topped the medal table comfortably. Over 100 medals total and around 48 golds, with Canada and England rounding out the top 3.
Let's also talk about India. Going into the final day, they'd already banked 39 total medals. 13 gold, 17 silver, 9 bronze, a lot of it powered by a record-breaking boxing campaign and historic first-ever judo goals.
On the athletics side, Neeraj Chopra and sprinter Gurinder Veer Singh both featured once the track events opened at Scotstoun Stadium, which was a big moment for fans watching from home.
And weightlifting had a proper standout too, with Mirabai Chanu picking up her third Commonwealth Games title in the women's weightlifting event. 3 games, 3 golds. That's not a good run, that's a legacy.
Over in the velodrome, there were some record-breaking moments too. Australia's women's team pursuit squad set a new Commonwealth Games record on their way to gold. England edged out Australia in the men's team pursuit final to set another games record, and New Zealand pulled off a remarkable comeback to win the women's tandem B sprint gold.
And the very last event of the whole games was the netball gold medal match, Jamaica against New Zealand, which is a properly dramatic way to close out 11 days of competition.
As for the hosts, Scotland, they had a strong showing too, sitting comfortably near the top of the table for most of the competition, which must have made watching from a home crowd even sweeter.
The closing ceremony was Sunday night at the Hydro, headlined by Scottish rock band Simple Minds, proper hometown send-off energy to close things out.
And there was a formal handover moment too. Ahmedabad, set to host the 2030 Games, took over the baton and said they're proud to build on the work Glasgow did. So, if you're an Indian student listening right now, mark your calendar. Next time it's happening at home.
Great note to end on. Quick question before we wrap. Arjun, if you had to pick one account to set up first before landing, which one? No thinking.
Genuinely tough, but I'm going Revolut, mostly for how fast I can set it up from home and now knowing my deposits properly protected under FSCS.
I'm going to say it depends on what you value. If you want that face to face safety net for your first term, Barclays or Lloyds might actually serve you better than either of us initially thought.
Fair, and that's honestly the right answer. There isn't one universal winner here.
Exactly the point of today's episode. Right, recap time. First, Revolut is now a fully licensed UK bank with full FSCS protection, though it's always had a proper sort code and account number. That part isn't new. It's one of the strongest options for setting up remotely before you land.
Second, Monzo remains excellent for day-to-day ease. HSBC is strongest if you've got an existing international relationship. Santander wins on travel perks, Barclays wins on branch access, and Lloyds wins if you want a dependable traditional safety net. Pick based on what you'll actually need most.
Third, send your first international transfer well before you fly, not the night before, and always keep a small cash buffer in case it gets held for verification. Learn from my very public delay.
Fourth, huge congratulations to every athlete who competed at Glasgow 2026. Keep working hard towards your goals, and guys, do give them some support.
Before we go, shout out time as always. A massive shout out to Krish Gulati and every other master's student still deep in dissertation season. We are wishing you the best of luck and we're rooting for you. We hope you do well.
And send us your own bank account horror stories, your best budget find, or your Commonwealth Games highlight. Share this episode, hit follow, send us an email at podcast@inference.com. You might get read out on the show. We're looking forward to celebrating your achievements or small wins every episode, so do send us your stories and requests.
This has been today's episode. Sort your money early, cheer loudly for your country, and we'll see you next week.
With, hopefully, a fully cleared bank transfer this time.
Thanks for listening to this episode, and we hope to see you in the next one.